Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Facebook Live and Instagram Live, wherever you're watching this. Today is day number 46 of our 100-day personal performance and business growth challenge. Today's topic is active listening, which is a little mini module. I'm going to take bits and pieces out of our Performance Coach University module on active listening and share them with you here, because some awesome human in the comments asked yesterday, could you give us some tips on how to be a better listener? So we're going to dive right in here. And let me start off. How many of you have ever wanted to be a better listener? Meaning you wanted to hear someone better. You wanted to make them feel understood, appreciated, seen, valued. So often, the most common thing I hear is they didn't understand me, which really means, and people go, what do you mean I didn't understand you? I heard what you said, but hearing what someone says and understanding what they meant are very different things that oftentimes we mess up because we're not really listening at the depth we need to be listening to. So in our Performance Coach University program, module number, I think this is 4, I grabbed our slide deck out, and I'm going to go through a couple little slides here. So going back, we're talking about active listening. Now, what is active listening in terms of being a coach? Number one, it's the ability to focus completely on what your client is saying. And for those of you who aren't coaches, expand this completely on what your spouse is saying, completely on what your colleague is saying, completely on what your child is saying. But expand it. For those of you who want to be coaches, make sure to go to Performance Coach University and check out this program we have there for you. But the ability to focus completely on what your client is saying and what they're not saying is the other piece to this. Because sometimes it's just as important to hear what someone is saying and what they're not saying, what they're avoiding, to understand the meaning of what is said in the context of the client's desires and to support the client in self-expression. So there's layers here. It's not just hearing the words they used, it's hearing what they said, hearing what they didn't say. It's understanding in the context of what they said. How does that parlay to their 20-year vision in life? How does that parlay to their 12-month goals in life? And it's connecting all of this while listening. So some of the things that there's 8 pieces here. I'll give you 4 of them. Number 1, attend to the client's and the client's agenda, not to the coach's agenda for the client. This is important. If you're a coach, you're there to serve your client. You're not there to get them to do what you think they should do. And the same thing as a spouse. Number 2, you want to hear the client's concerns, goals, values, and beliefs about what is and what's not possible in what they're expressing. That's really important. Number 3, you want to distinguish between the words, the tone of voice, and the body language that they're using. Someone says, yeah, I'll get it done, versus, yeah, I've totally got this, 100% committed. You need to be able to differentiate. A lot of our work is done via Skype or Zoom or the phone. So we got to be able to listen and hear these things. Not only that, number 4, you want to be able to summarize, paraphrase, reiterate, and mirror back what the client has said to ensure clarity and understanding. Now, there's 8 pieces, but I'll give you 4 here. Let's move forward. What is not effective listening? This will be helpful. Interrupting the client or speaking as soon as the client finishes a sentence. So instead of hearing them, instead of digesting what they said and repeating back, you're just waiting for your turn to kind of chatter right into it. That's not really listening. That's just waiting for your turn to talk. And instead, you want to keep your mind clear, be totally present, and hear them, digest it, think it through, reiterate a piece, and then lead them. Number 2, and again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. I'll give you, again, 4 just to keep this short for Instagram and Facebook here. So the number 2, you speaking before the client can finish the last few words of a sentence, meaning they're about to stop talking and you're like, oh, yeah, totally. And then you cut them off. That is not active listening or effective listening. Number 3, attending superficially, missing signals in the client's tone or body language, meaning you're listening, but you're not really listening. You're kind of just there. And you're missing the fact that when you said, how's your relationships? They said, oh, it's good. You missed that. That was a cue. Oh, it's good. Are you joking? They just told you a whole storybook unfolded in that little tiny pause and the way that they inflection moved. You got to be able to hear that and speak to it and go, what does, oh, it's good mean? Ask them back. And they'll go, well, you know, and go, no, tell me, what does well, you know mean? And you're asking, you're diving, you're listening, you're digging through what's there and you're learning what's going on. Hopefully this is useful to everyone listening. If it is, give me a little heart or something and let me know it's interesting for you. Number four, you break eye contact and you're doodling during a face-to-face session. So you're there with a client and instead of listening to them, you're over here going, oh, instead of paying attention to what the heck they're saying. And so you got to listen to them. You got to be present. You got to stay with them. Finally, I'll give you a bonus one here. Multitasking with the sound of the clients during the phone call. So you're over here like click, 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 click. And you're over here like do, scribbling on stuff, doing other stuff. Like you got to pay attention. You got to be totally focused. So that's the difference between, there's 4 points for effective listening out of the 8. There's 5 out of the non-effective listening out of the 9 there. Let me skip forward and give you, there's 3 levels. Let me see if I can sum these up real quick in our 10-minute session here. Level number one is internal listening. So the awareness is on ourself, not our client or the other person. We listen to the words the other person is saying, but the attention is what on it means to us. So instead of listening to what the words are and what it means to them in their world, we're listening to the words and what it means to us in our world as the coach. How did I skip forward? Here we go. So it's internal listening. The focus is on ourselves. Our focus is on ourselves, our thoughts, our judgments, our feelings, our conclusions about ourselves and others. Everything that is happening becomes a one-way energy trap where energy is coming in and being received, but nothing is going back out to the client. The question someone uses when they're at level 1, which is, what does this mean to me? So if every time you're speaking to someone, or to be a better listener, every time someone's speaking to you, the only conversation you have back is, well, to me that means, and in my life, here's how it worked out. And what I think about that is, if that's all that's going on, you got level 1 listening at a 3. And so if you want to deepen this, it goes to level 2 listening, which is focused listening. Now, focused listening, your awareness is 100% on your client. Now, what you listen for is you listen to their words, their expressions, their emotions. You notice what they say, how they say it, and what they didn't say. You see the smile or you hear the tears in their voice. You listen for what they value, what their vision and their model of the world is, and you listen for what makes them come alive and what makes them go numb in the conversation. So you're listening to everything that's going on in their world. Not only that, how it's making them feel and what's going on. Our focus at level 2, really simple, our focus is all the focus is on the client and everything that they're experiencing. Like a perfect mirror that absorbs none of the light, but instead sends all that is sent your way perfectly reflected back. You want to listen as if there's a wired connection between you and them, and you want to use empathy, looking for clarification and collaboration in level 2. Finally, let's see if I got 1 minute here. I could do level 3 real quick. If you're interested in learning more about how to be a great listener, how to be a great communicator, make sure to go to performancecoachuniversity.com and check it out. Finally, level 3 listening. The fast version is global listening. What we're listening for is everything that you're receiving, like a radio antenna about your client. You're connected to the intuition, your intuition, and you're receiving information that's not always observable. You're using that information as if it were words coming from your client. And so as you're listening, it's like you're a radio station picking up all the frequencies and intuitively hearing what they're saying and not saying. Your awareness is on everything about your client, their life, every single thing you can experience about them through your senses, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you feel, including both tactile and emotional sensations. It includes all actions, interactions, and inactions. Our focus is on the experience your client is having with everything, including your response, their feelings, and everything in between. And the final piece here, questions, is the client's energy sparking or flat? Are they cool, lightly present, or tightly controlled? You're so in tune with what's going on in their world that you're hearing all the magic. So I hope this is useful. I hope you loved it. I'll jump back on in a couple of seconds to answer any questions about this. But if you want to learn more, go to performancecoachuniversity.com.